So this situation just keeps getting crazier. Last week, we told you how Morgan Wallen's bar was denied their request for a sign outside of this new 6-story establishment they've opened up in the city of Nashville, which will certainly become a tourism hotspot for them, generate significant tax revenue for them there as well. So naturally, you would expect the elected officials there to approve a basic request for signage, considering they are investing in that community. But unfortunately, that is not what happened. Instead, multiple members of the council publicly bashed Morgan Wallen and criticized him for actions totally unrelated to this bar's grand opening. And it's going to open up a lot of different can of worms. Are they equally applying this standard to other business owners? Is this even legal? Is this a First Amendment issue? Are the local council members able to deny such a request on the grounds that they don't like the person who is making the request? There are also other business partners involved that have nothing to do with those decisions. Is this punitive, or is this actually based on city code? And we'll have to see how that all plays out. But what this led to occurring was Morgan Wallen's bar was now not ready to be open. There's also a beer licensing issue that's there as well. And we'll have to see if this situation plays out in the courts. But first, here's a little bit of what was said by some council members that got even Morgan Wallen's own mom to respond to this craziness. So this is one of those Nashville City Council members responding to this decision to deny the request for his sign. Delisha Porterfield wrote, "We just voted down a resolution allowing an aerial encroachment with Morgan Wallen's name on it. Yes, that Morgan Wallen, the one who throws chairs and uses racial slurs. Nope, no thank you. Try that in a small town. Better yet, don't try at all." And as you can see here on the screen, this wasn't a small number of council members voting against this. They had 30 members voting no. And whether or not this vote's even going to matter remains to be seen. It seems like this is a real First Amendment issue anyway, so they're just kind of going through the motions here a little bit, but we'll have to see. That is a complex issue in one way or another, whether it involves opening the bar without signage, which seems outrageous. There is still one sign on the building, I believe. And then they've also got this beer issue. But it seems like one of the most controversial things that was said was by one particular council member who blasted Wallen in a speech at that meeting, where he said he didn't feel he even belonged in the town, which prompted Morgan to share a photo of one of 3 sold-out stadium shows in Nashville that he recently played. And that just pretty much settles that at this point. But this is what that council member had to say in response to this request from Morgan's new restaurant to hang a sign up outside the building. This is from NBC News. It says Councilmember Joy Smith Kimbrough, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, echoed her colleague's sentiments, adding that she couldn't support the resolution out of respect for the officers who were almost hit by Morgan Wallen's thrown chair. I'd love to hear what the officers actually think about that. I imagine they are doing their jobs and just being professional, and they probably didn't take that super personal. And I wonder if they think that this should result in his sign being denied. I don't know. But it says Councilmember Jordan Huffman went as far as to say that Wallen gives all East Tennesseans a bad name. He said his comments are hateful, his actions are harmful, and you don't belong in this town as far as I'm concerned, and encouraged his colleagues to vote against the resolution, which they ultimately did. The thing is that a lot of these statements from these elected officials were really emotional, and some of them even appeared to be angry. And we don't want our elected officials in government making decisions based on emotion. You want them to be pragmatic, and that's not really what we're seeing from certain members of the Nashville City Council, and that is why you're seeing a lot of local voters there really outraged by this decision-making process, and the way it all shakes out remains to be seen. But from a business standpoint, why would you want to invest in a business in a community where they're going to be publicly attacking you, which is basically what Morgan Wallen's mom said in response to all of this. Here's more. Morgan's mom, Leslie, was having none of this, responding on this post from Country Court saying, "Way to go, Morgan. The city of Nashville says thank you for all your help bringing in millions in revenue." Some very well executed sarcasm there from Miss Wallen. Obviously loves her son very much. And look, I think she probably doesn't agree with him throwing chairs off the roof either, but these are separate issues. And you have him making, okay, not a good decision to throw the chairs off the roof. Is it something that should result in him essentially being prohibited from putting a legal sign outside of his business? Doesn't make any sense. And so now we have this situation where the bar had to be delayed opening. It was supposed to open, and now they're releasing a statement saying it's not ready. It's clear that this has played into it to some degree, and if you don't have clear signage outside of your building, you're certainly going to miss out on a lot of sales. And they spent a lot of money to open a 6-story bar with a rooftop. And this would have been a very successful weekend for them, no doubt. But they are losing probably untold amount of money by not opening this weekend. And here's what they had to say about that decision. So this is from Fox 17 Nashville. It says, beer permit not approved for Morgan Wallen's Nashville bar. Opening delayed. So not only was there a sign not approved, now you can't even serve alcohol. You got a 6-story bar. So how's that going to work? It ain't going to work. Not good. Not good what we're seeing here. As it relates to the beer permit, they are saying that that is going to be approved, but there's some additional steps they have to take apparently. It just seems like they're kind of really going hard on this approval process with this bar. It says the beer permit for Morgan Wallen's Nashville bar was not approved ahead of what was supposed to be his grand opening weekend over Memorial Day. A rep for the beer board told Fox 17 News the permit will be approved when bar management passes their codes and fires inspection. And here's the statement. It says, thank you for reaching out. I can confirm that we did not approve their beer permit ahead of Memorial Day weekend. I would not want to speculate on when the approval would happen. It all depends on when bar management passes their codes and fire inspection. That's an indefinite delayed opening right there for Morgan Wallen's bar after all those council members were trashing him publicly. We're not going to speculate on why it was denied, but the optics of it don't look good. That's just a tough financial situation to be in, opening this bar with this restaurant group that he's partnered with that apparently has invested heavily into the Nashville community and other ventures as well. But this is what Morgan Wallen's bar had to say about this whole ordeal. Now, this is the full statement here from TC Restaurant Group, revealing that the bar wasn't going to be open. Very professional in their statement and throughout this entire situation. They said, the ground-up construction of a 6-story venue launching with hundreds of team members is a tremendous amount of work and a complex process. They continued, when we open, we want this bar to be an exceptional experience for guests. Unfortunately, the process required more time, and we're not able to provide that experience this Memorial Day weekend. Rest assured, it will be well worth the wait. We look forward to welcoming guests soon. A very professionally worded statement that doesn't give much away. Now, a spokesperson for the restaurant group says that the delay had nothing to do with the decision to delay the neon sign. They're working through all the normal complexities of starting a new business. The spokesperson said all parties involved are working together and they look forward to opening soon. Well, I'll tell you what did for sure have an impact on it was the alcohol license. If you're not authorized to sell alcohol at a 6-story bar, you know, that ain't happening. But again, it could be procedural. It could just be a timing thing. And as they mentioned, Wallen was arrested in early April for allegedly throwing a chair from the 6-story bar in downtown Nashville. He was charged with 3 felony counts of reckless endangerment, according to Nashville police. Of course, he's had a number of other noteworthy issues. This is a bad decision on his part. But the question is whether or not that decision should have something to do with a business, which you have other partners involved, losing the ability to have a sign outside of your establishment. Well, I'm sure there are some very strong opinions from you out there in the audience. So let me know what you think about this situation. Are you from Nashville? I've heard a lot from some very disappointed residents there. Let me know, as always, down in the comments. And if you're new here, be sure to hit that subscribe button right here at CountryCast for the latest news and updates.